Welcome back to another episode of 56'N with BJ and Tyler. This podcast is basically reminiscent of how BJ and I used to 56, a cop term where we would just shoot the shit about anything we were thinking about, cases we were working, or just topics of the day. BJ, I love our weekly check-ins, brother.
I do love it, brother. Obviously that's the foundation of our friendship, especially initially in the beginning, but it is good to, life be lifing, as they say. So it's good to
Life do be life, bro.
To check in and, catch up, stay connected, even though we do that offline too, but it is good to kind of get on here and have some fun too,
Damn right, bro. Damn right. Yeah. And I'm just going to keep shouting it out. Tails Network Apparel, alive and well, partnered with Living Blue. You can get it on our website, StreetTailsNetwork.com. Shot and just hit the shop tab. T-shirts, mugs. I really digging our new T-shirt line. I got all the colors now. I did, you know what? I did learn, or I'm learning, I guess, the different color material reacts differently in the dryer. Did you know this? Were you aware of this?
I think a little bit. You notice it, but it's like one of those things you notice without really paying too much attention to it. You know what I mean?
Well, because I have the same size. It's the same fucking shirt. The white one, the black one, the gray one, and the blue one. It's fine. The red one, which I really like because it's kind of Marine Corps-y, just because of our the way it is on the T-shirt. It's the red shirt with the gold outline of the lettering. Anyway, pulled that one out of the dryer, threw it on. I was like, oh, little snug, bro. And but I was talking to Jason, who runs Living Blue, and he's like, oh yeah, different colors. I was like, that makes no sense, bro. It's the same material. They just, I'm assuming, dye it, but apparently this is a thing that exists in the world. I'm 42 years old and I didn't know that shit.
I did throw on the dye. I did dye.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
It's my fault. Making it my fault.
I know, right? Before we get going into our topic of the day, I'm excited. Mo and I talked a little bit the other day. You ended up you had a side job you had to go work.
Yeah.
But we did a whole episode on where the network or where the podcast is going for the Street Tails Network, and we're excited. It's fun.
It's looking up, man. Looking up,
buddy. It's an exciting. It's fun. It's fun when you realize, we might actually be able to do this. Well, let me back it up. It's fun when it's still fun to do. One. And then two, when it's like, it actually is not that bad. It's getting better. And we took time to kind of rehash the Street Tails thing, but we'll spend just a minute on the 56'N thing because I think it's fun to talk about how just to kind of capture that moment in time.
Yeah.
But I talked about it on Street Tails. I had the idea in my head. I did it solo with the full intent of just trying to capture stories for my kids to explain why I was gone all the time. Mm-hmm. And I still believe in that main purpose, but I learned very quickly I cannot just talk to myself I did. The first one was like 24 minutes long, and I was like, this is awful. I hate it. I don't like it. I can't do this. So I need to be able to talk to somebody to bounce feed off of, however you want to phrase it. I will say it's even more fun when it's friends of mine,
100%.
And we could just riff about whatever. But then, and you were on it, we started off audio, but going back through the videos and stuff, we didn't really start doing video till February, March.
Yeah, we didn't do videos for a good little minute.
No. And then even with that, I didn't understand that, the titling, the description stuff, and now I've learned about hashtags for the algorithm. Oh shit, bro. I just spent the last 3 days going through every video from Street Tails and 56'N and chopping out this block of hashtag things to help make it more reachable or findable and bro. I'm just like, what is that? This is not my world, bro.
Yeah,
this is not my world.
Well, the hashtag thing is I guess it's not a weird thing, but it's like I don't actually use hashtags to look shit up.
But it doesn't matter. So it's like
it doesn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it connects.
Yeah, it's just how the algorithm works.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, damn, I don't think I've ever actually typed in to my search bar.
Let me see what's trending. Hashtag trending.
Yeah, all right. It's like, let's see. Let me type in For You page to see what pops up. Isn't that already on the For You page?
Well, you know why it's there? Because somewhere buried deep in the description, which I did do a deep dive in, you go to the bigger podcasts. I mean, these are monster podcasts. And then you click the description and it gives it to you. But then there's another read more. You click that. So it's 2 levels down. And a lot of these are a fucking brick of just
hashtags.
Block of hashtag stuff. And I was like, I never dove into it. Most people don't, but it's like, it makes sense. But these are all things that I'm learning at 41 now, 42.
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses. I'm just trying to make a good product, but it's been an interesting. I had this whole conversation with my daughter who's 17 and she's like, "Oh yeah, you didn't know that?" No, why would I fucking know that?
No, I got a friend of mine. Shout out to Mel, who will look at some of the Instagram posts, whatever, and she'll be like, she works in marketing. So she'll be like, she's like, hey, you need to do this, put this here, make sure this is in here, make sure it says this, make sure it's easily findable, make sure it's readable, make sure. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good, write that down, shout out. So that's why, like, it's on the ones you see me, like, kind of change it. That's why. Yeah.
Well, side note, we'll talk about this offline. Could you set up a call between us three? So we'd love to pick that brain to help.
Yes, I can, actually. Yeah.
At some point, if we ever make money from this thing, that's going to be our first hire or whatever expenditure is finding someone to do the editing, clipping, and publishing and all this other stuff. Because describe the actual recording, the game day. Everyone loves game day. It's the best part of the day. Love it. The other stuff, bro, it's too much, bro. It's too much.
Like, you know what? Like, ooh, that's the part that should work, and I'm interested in.
Yeah, that makes me not happy. Then you also learn you have to upload consistently, regularly. And I'm like, y'all know I work during the day, right? Like I do have a job. I have a job that pays my bills.
Yeah.
You writing a note, bro?
I'm writing a note. I write notes a lot.
Yeah. Well, don't be like Mo, who wrote a note on a sticky and then forgot because the sticky was in the bottom of her purse.
I will have to let Mo tell the story. I'm going to say this part and you're going to laugh because you heard the story. Yeast roll inside of a yeast roll.
Yeast roll inside of a yeast roll, bro. So good. Yeah, I love that one. We have to have her back on 56, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love it. Real quick.
That's top big, bro.
Yeah, bro. Yeast roll story. I have one thing and then we'll get into our topic. Yeah. But one, it's wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know a normal way to present this, but when did men stop clipping their toenails?
Stop clipping them? I don't know.
Bro, one, it's cold outside. Why are you wearing slides or flip-flops? Number one. Number two, you shouldn't be sounding like a miniature Yorkie walking across fucking the kitchen outside on the sidewalk, bro. Did I miss something? I don't understand. It's not like a one-off. I don't get what's happening.
I got the visual and I'm upset that I had the visual. That's terrible.
Yeah, because you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Gotta take care of your motherfucking feet.
Listen, I don't necessarily like it when females do that shit. Like, I don't know. Just grooming standards? I don't know.
Yeah, just in general. It's like your toenails should not come past your toe. What's happening?
I don't.
It shouldn't be. The toenails
shouldn't start. And it definitely shouldn't be clicking on the ground. Past your shoe, bro.
So maybe that's how they're clipping them like dogs. You got to take them out of the concrete, keep the nails clipped.
Maybe, but what, bro? Is this something that is not being taught to men that you need to trim your toenails? I would hope also your fingernails, but my God,
Bastard man's gotta go. It's a thin slice.
Thin slice of provolone, bro. He's a comedian and that shit's funny, and I get it. But now it's like I'm seeing it. I'm like, what? I shouldn't know that. I shouldn't even know that that's happening. One, in my opinion, it's fucking 28 degrees outside. What is happening? I don't get it.
Cover your fucking feet, bro.
Yeah, listen. If you don't want to trim your toenails, gross already.
But I'll talk.
Don't bust some things out, bro.
No, I don't do open toe.
Well, you know I love wearing flip flops, but I groom my shit, bro.
Yeah, I just don't personally wear open toe shoes. Not my thing.
That's true, bro. I don't think I've ever seen you do that. You wear socks with slides and everything.
So with slides, yeah, not sandals. First of all, do people understand the difference between sandals and slides?
Maybe not.
Okay, for people who don't understand what's happening here, sandals have that little piece of thing that goes between your toe, between your big toe and your.
We call those flip flops, but maybe sandals. That's fine.
That's I call those sandals. Slides is the overall thing. You just slide your foot in, right? So it's this thing. Foot goes in. It's a slide. I don't call those sandals. Sandals are the other thing.
Fair.
So when people are like, "Oh my God, you wear socks with slides," I'm like, "Yes, I cover my feet. I take care of my feet. My feet are in pristine condition and soft, and they're manicured." Like,
this ain't that kind of show, bro. Don't show your feet. I don't. This ain't that kind of show, bro. I'm about to kick that bitch up there, bro.
This thing the only feet.
Only feet, bro. 56 and only feet, bro. Football feet to boot, bro.
Exactly. Now listen to that. Some lady will pay me to look at my feet. You know.
I mean, that's a side thing, but he set up a different account for that, bro.
It's like $20. $20. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
Here's my Apple Cash.
Sorry, bro. That's just the offshoot, bro. But we're talking about communication, and I'll let you pose the topic, but I think there's some offshoots to it, but I understand what you're saying. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So I was thinking about, it's not a strange conversation, but conversation that kind of just like was like came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And I was thinking about this, and it's like, man, I know we don't constantly think about this, but like there is a point in time where you never talk to someone again, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you probably weren't thinking that was going to be the last time that you ever talked to them.
Well, and this is what I mean. There's offshoots to what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's, to me, when you pose it that way, it's like friends that, the last conversation. Well, I have a friend, John, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
And we'll see each other. And it's like we saw each other yesterday, whether it be 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago. I think the longest was 10 years. And then I just see him, boop, and we just right back to where we were. But it's weird to think that a friend like that, you have a great time. Hey, bro, I'll see you. I'll hit you up. And then boom, you just don't talk to him ever again. That's one.
Yeah.
Two, another top, offshoot, something happens where they pass away. And like the last time, that's different. And then three, and I don't know if this is what you mean. It's more like a relationship thing. You break up and then you, for distance purposes, you don't talk anymore. I don't know which angle you were going after. I mean, they're all unique. They're unique in their own way.
Well, I think more of it was the third thing, but they're all, even though definitely unique, but it's all like the same concept, if you will. It's like, I wasn't actively consciously thinking this was going to be the last time that I spoke to you on any level, right? So it's like, it could be like, we just, life happens. We don't really talk to that person very often, or something happens to them, or we just consciously never talk to them again. But it's like, I don't think we really ever in our minds, when we're actively doing it, being like, yeah, this will be the last time we might never speak again. I think I think the gravity of it too is depending on how integral that person is to your life. You know what I mean? So it's like, could you imagine, and I'm sure obviously we can all imagine it, right? Somebody like really, very close to you and be like, damn, like if me and you just if this was our last episode, we never talked again, right?
Yeah.
But like I would think about it and be like, damn, that's just.
Well, it depends on the reasoning, right? Depends on the reasoning. For me, yeah.
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's still.
Well, let's say we had a blowout argument for, I don't know what that would be.
Yeah.
If you're talking about you and I. Well, let's switch that because that's harder for me.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what that would be. Yeah. Relationships, right? Because there's those, I don't know. Bill Burr talks about when you walk in and your wife or your love of your life, your partner who you built this life around is, doing something and you're like, it's a big explosive, fuck you, I never want to see you again, that kind of shit. And then boom, it's gone. Or it's like, which seems to be more common nowadays is the, hey, I just, my career or the timing or, hey, this just ain't working right now or whatever it might be. But it's not like an explosive, angry, nasty breakup, but you're just like, I need some space. And then that space turns into forever. That seems to be common in my world. How about that? And you go from talking to somebody every day, possibly seeing them every day. And then it's like, that's it. That's the last time you ever saw them.
Yeah. It's a never again.
Or talk to them.
Like you never see them, never talk to them. And it's like, excuse me. And this is definitely going to spout in different ways. But it was, for whatever the reasons are, I was looking at this thing called red string theory. I think we talked about it before, right? Where things are connected, whatever. Yeah, right. But also at the same time, it's like I've, had in this year, right? Again, off of another side road. But one of the biggest things that I've worked on and like prayed about this year, right, is the spirit of removal. Right? So just like removing things that are just not, for me, they're not conducive to where I want to go, to me being happy or whatever, right? So I pray to just rip it away from me, take it away. I don't. And then, so like you have that, so you have these things where you just, you remove yourself or other things are removed from your life. And then you realize like, damn. And obviously this takes some time, but you're like, man, maybe that was, calling me back or hindering me in some kind of way because it never comes up again. Right. So think about this, like you'd be like the same city as somebody or in the same job or in the same office, right? And then have like a fallout or whatever, right? And never run into that person again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's like,
I got it.
Right. So it's like, I think back to our original thing, I think part of it, like you said, depending on, what that person is into your life. But like you said, if it's like a drag out thing, where it's like, man, I didn't really like that guy anyway. I don't really think about it too much. But if it's somebody I used to talk to every day, somebody that had some form of importance in your life, right? Whether that be family or romantically or close friend or whatever, it's like, but I think it's that grieving process where you're like, damn, I never talked to them like ever again. It just like used to be so important to me, and now it's like nothing. And I was saying this I was saying this to a young lady one time. She got very upset. Well, I was not about very upset, but she was like it bothered her. And I'm like, I'm prepared to always not that I want to, but I'm always prepared to adapt to you not being around. And it's like, but this is how I rationalize those kinds of things, right? My life was what it was before you got here. But there was a point in time where I didn't know you existed, and it was fine. The thought of you was not in my brain, and it didn't exist to me. And it's weird how you kind of transition back into that. So it'll go kind of like from, damn, I didn't talk to you. It's been an hour, been a day, been a week, been a month, been some months, been a year, been 5, been a day. Like, and I never saw you again, never spoke to you. So the everyday frequency, right? High frequency goes to all the way back down to almost never existing in your mind again, almost to the point of it being like, I think I read that on the same level. Like, I think I read that somewhere in a footnote in a book, maybe at some point. You know what I mean? Like, like it goes from so high to such lows again. I'm like, that's a wild concept, man.
Yeah, and this is why I think it depends on the relationship. But so as close as you and I are, and we talk all the time, whoever your partner is, there'll never be that level of intimacy between you and anyone else, period, the end.
Exactly.
Now, you got me thinking now, because you date people. I think there's levels to it, right? There's the initial, and it's exciting and fun. And then you kind of settle into the comfort zone. And to me, at that point, that's when you start, that's really the kind of the grind or the work. And hopefully it's fun, right? Hopefully it is. Maybe it's not. Again, things happen. But the longer you're with somebody, the more they know about you. They see you at your highs, your lows. Let's just cut brass tacks. They see you butt naked.
Yeah.
They hear you, they know your bathroom schedule, your fit. Like they know
you.
They know all the intimate details of your life, bro. All of them.
Yeah.
They pop your pimples on your back or whatever the fuck's going on. I don't know. I'm not trying to be gross here, but like they do shit. I love you, bro. I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
I will never do that for you.
I'll find somebody to do that for you.
Nah, hell nah. You know what I mean? And then for that person to just one day they're there, the next day they're not. Yeah. That's rough, bro. That's hard.
It's hard, bro. It's hard. And
and I always wonder, the more you do it, does it make it harder for the next relationship that you move on from? If that, you've now set up, it's like scar tissue, or people call it walls, or whatever phraseology you want, depending on, who you talk to or how you grew up or whatever. Walls, scar tissue, whatever.
Yeah. I think it's natural.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, as two men who've had plenty of surgeries, think about that on the same area, right? Think about how the first surgery, it's difficult. Second one, god damn. Third one, I know what to expect. I know how my body's going to react to certain things. I know how to avoid certain shit. But
that's true. Learning. Yeah.
But that's only because I do have the scar tissue from the other thing.
That's another way to look at it. I like it.
But I will say, vulnerable moment or whatever, right? But I will say that for me, more recently, romantically or dating, that's been the biggest struggle, is to kind of like, I guess, get past and this applies to everything, right? Physically, emotionally, whatever, right? The psychology of pain is what's holding us back, I think, in most cases, right? We don't want to be uncomfortable. That's just human nature. You don't want to be uncomfortable. With human nature, you avoid discomfort. You avoid things that you know are going to be painful, right? So it's like, hey, I know last time I stuck my finger in the socket, I got fucking shocked. Probably not going to do that again, right? Or back in mind, I know to be wary of, hey, do you do this? This is most likely going to happen, right? Or especially injury. It's not really the knee that's holding you back. It's my fear of hurting it again and going through this whole process that's holding me back from getting back to where I was before, right? Same thing in relationships, same thing in dealing with people. So it's like, you're like, fuck, do I really want to let this person get close to me? Do I really want to do this? And again, it's nothing to do with them per se, right? But it's like, so for me, it's in maybe, as a friend told me, it's like, you love to do the most dangerous shit or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I kind of do. I say, but that doesn't frighten me as much as, like, I guess somebody being close to me, because I've let people be close to me before, and then it's like, damn, they didn't view it the way I viewed it. They didn't take it as serious as I took it, right? One thing I was to your point, I would always tell a young lady I was dating before, say, my favorite thing to do is see you naked. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, That's
We have
nothing
talked about this on the show.
Right, right. I'm like, it's nothing to do with you seeing your body physically. It's like, but I love seeing you like when you're not worried about what you look like, when it's actually just you. Like that's my favorite thing. And so it's like to have that reciprocated. It's like, damn, like you said. Another thing I pray about all the time is like, guys, for protection, please protect me from people that I love. Because that is literally the only thing that is the only thing that can hurt me. That's the only thing.
So I'm switching gears a little bit, but it's in the same vein because this is something that we've talked about a little bit, but I've talked about it on Street Tales as well. Now that I have a life because of my new career path and I have time, which is sometimes dangerous, the communication, but the difference between family and then also why I have a small group of friends. And it's funny because it kind of ties into what Mark Efron was talking about, where he schedules out his day. So he has 21 days in a week because the way he schedules it out. So we'll stick with the small group of friends. I don't have time. I don't have the appropriate amount of time to do the check-ins that I think are important with friends, people who you call close friends. Because what typically happens is you get together during big events or the holidays or whatever it is, or that's when everyone kind of reaches out, checks in, right?
Yeah.
But when you're like, hey, man, I really want you to do this, or I think, this is really important to me. I want you to be here, whatever it is. And they say no, or they can't make it. And then you talk to them and you're like, what's going on? Why can't you make it? And you realize they have this whole world of things going on. You're like, dude, I didn't know. And it's like, yeah, because we don't talk all the time. Why would you know? Or my favorite is you didn't ask. It's like, well, I can't know to ask things.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? But that's why it takes it takes time. It takes effort. And it hits me a little bit because it's a little cross tie in between friends and my family because I'm trying to be better at that. Some are more receptive than others, shall we say? It's like, why are you trying to know all these things now? Like where you been for the last 20 years? But you're right. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. Right. But also it just a lot of stuff when we've talked to like mental health professionals and stuff on the Street Tail side, they talk about time with your kids. That's another one. But I think kids and their parents, that's a whole, you kind of have to take that and set it. That's in a different category because that's a lot of time, energy, and effort, bro. And it's hard when people who don't have kids don't understand like, hey, I can't do this or I don't have time because I'm dealing with, this a concert or this, I got to go to this game or whatever. Or, hey, I'm just spending time with my son or my daughter, right? Like we don't have time for you.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not to mean that you're less than, but in all fairness, everyone comes second to your kids. At least that's how it should be. Period. The end.
And I guess
it has to be that way.
For me, I don't understand what people don't understand about that.
Oh, bro, it is a fucking thing. Let me tell you, people do not get it. But let's tie into family because and let me ask you this. Family is the hardest one, right? Because you can't pick your family. There is a lifetime of shit, good and bad. You can't really, it's hard to even measure it if you're on the outside looking at it. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
And family is the one thing where, they should be important to you. At least I hope they are, but there's all different variations there. But family is like, hey, I have a problem with what's happening right now. It never goes that way. It's like, yeah, well, when I was 8, you tripped me and I hit my head. It's like, bro, I'm talking about right now. But family can't do that, bro. They can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, the family thing is...
but it's all communication, though. It's all communication.
The family thing is strange because I found myself at this stage of life, right? Even though I'm not married, don't have kids. Maybe just like, I guess maybe I'm not as dependent on them as at this stage of life. Is like I've come into my own, right? So it's like I'm doing things for my life. And so it's like checking in and, do whatever. And I'm like, at some point, I'm like, yeah, I had to, like, we know you're busy. We know you're doing things, whatever. I was like, yeah, I'm trying to do my thing and live my life. Sometimes the communication thing does go both ways. It's not like, it's like you're reaching out to me and I'm ignoring you. I'm not saying anything. It's like, if we're both not speaking, like not even just family, right? This is just, and all the things we've discussed to this point. At some point, it's both sides not speaking. So who's to blame?
Yeah.
Or who's right? It's like I read a thing once. I was like, if you're thinking about them, they're thinking about you.
Maybe.
And in some cases, like your thoughts are, coming back and forth, but it'll be like, all right, I saw a meme the other day. It was like, it's like, it was like a him and her thing. Like him, like I miss you, and her, like I miss you too. And it's like at the bottom, it's like two motherfuckers that are lying. Right? It's like if you miss, you would say something. You would call. You would do whatever. And I'm sure there's caveats to that. There's reasons why that's not happening. But at the root of it, it's like, do you miss him enough to like, there's not a reason to not be speaking. So you can't miss him that much.
Yeah. And again, this is where we're kind of getting convoluted with, because there's aspects to it, but I'll say this as a parent, just through things that I've dealt with. So I try to, and I've gotten a lot better now, probably to the point of annoyance to my children. I text them every morning and if possible, every, afternoon or every night. And sometimes they respond, sometimes they don't. And they both, over the course of last year, my son and my daughter have been like, Dad, why do you text us every day? Like, because I text them the same thing every day. Good morning. I miss you. I love you. Whatever. Hope you have a good day. I try to, I switch it up, but it's that vein every day. And I said, look, I don't expect you to call me every day. I know you're both busy. They have their own stuff. I said, that is me letting you know I think about you from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. And if something is happening, you know that I'm here and I'm available. I want to talk to you. And they're like, I said, is also, I do appreciate when you respond. I don't ask for a paragraph text, even if you just heart it, like it, thumbs up it, whatever. My son usually sends me some meme. He's a Marine now, so sometimes they're a little aggressive for a son to send to his dad, but it's like, whatever. I was like, I at least know you're alive.
Yeah, at a minimum. Yeah.
He's now on the other side of the world, bro. He's going to be there for 3 years. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. I was like, but let me tell you, I used to, not that long, 2 years ago, so not even that long ago, I was in my fields. I wasn't in the best place, but I would be like, I'm just not even going to reach out. I'm going to see if they'll even think about their dad. And it would go for 2-3 weeks. And I'm like, hey, y'all don't even care about your dad. You don't think about me that way. They're like, well, we didn't know if we thought you were, like, you see what I'm saying? We thought you were busy. That's super selfish of me and childish. And I regret, again, we've talked about this. Why does anybody give a shit about what we have to say? It's mostly because, at least for myself, I have made every mistake the hard way. I still continue to do so. I don't know if it's a personality flaw. It might be. But I do try to learn from them to the best of my ability.
That's all we can do.
Yeah. My kids now, they're older. They'll be like, Dad, you've always told, they'll say something like, yeah, you always told us this growing up. And I'm like, I said that to you? God, I'm sorry. That wasn't great. I don't know what to say. It's fine. I'm like, damn, bro. So I've done all the things. That's why I try to say no judgment here, bro, but not good either, right? You got to learn from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. But also perspective. Let's talk about that for 2 seconds. I was just talking about this today with my daughter, trying to be better at seeing both sides. So a couple of years ago, I was working for the Secret Service, so I was gone all the time. And we had security cameras around the house. So I kind of knew when they would go to school, when they were around. So I try to look at it no matter where I was in the world. I try to just, if I could just see them, because sometimes I wouldn't see them for weeks and months at a time.
Yeah. And
so that was the only time. And every now and again, I would chime in and say, hey, I miss you guys. And they'd be, it kind of startle them a little bit. Well, there was one time when, I can't even remember where I was. I was working midnight shift somewhere, and I look it up and I see my son. He's around the fire pit with his boys.
Yeah.
And they're just chopping it up, cooking steaks, doing whatever boys do, right? And for me, I was like, proud dad moment. I was like, oh my God, like that's a good moment. And this is where my head went. And I was like, I chimed in, I said, hey boy, I love what you're doing. I miss you. And they, Dad? I was like, yeah, hey, I saw you guys. I just want to say, hey buddy, I love you. I hope you guys are having a good time. He was like, yeah, okay, thanks. He was furious, furious with me. Didn't talk to me for like 3 or 4 days. Maybe even a week. I don't remember the time, but I was like, why are you so fucking mad at me? He's like, you invaded my privacy and made me feel like you were spying on me and my friends and what we were talking about. Bro, that is like an alternate universe.
Yeah.
It never crossed my brain that he would ever take it that way. But as soon as he said it, I had to check. I said, you are 100% right. I am sorry. I said, can I explain to you what my thought process was and what I was feeling in that moment? And I did. He goes, well, now I feel like a piece of shit. I didn't think of it that way. But the point is, if we would have never talked about it, we would have just harbored that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see his point. He's 100% right. But that's not, again, but in the moment that I was doing that, I was just like, yo, proud, that's what I used to do when I was, that's how I felt. Anyway, so these are all things that I'm realizing, over time.
Yeah, man. That is also a thing I've been thinking about lately, the past couple of years. I guess more so recently, is I don't know, we talk about this online, offline, but the concept of like people not being able to be wrong, right?
I'm guilty of that myself, very much so. And
I've been telling you, I've been thinking about this deeply. Not waking up at 11, not keeping me up at night, but it is like it's a thought process. Strings of thought on this. Late night. How shit is late nights. It's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning. And you just wait for the shift to get over. So just my mind is just all over the fucking place. But people not being able to be wrong, right? In the sense of you gain new information, you have a different perspective on things, and people, it's almost like people either can't, don't have the ability to, or won't allow themselves to be wrong because, or change their mind, or have a difference of opinion, or see things in a new way, because that means that they'll be wrong, and they'll have to speak on being wrong. And it's like, I have to hold, like, this person forever has to be an asshole in my brain in order for me to be right. Because if they're not, that means I was wrong.
Yeah.
And that means I have to do some accountability. I have to admit something, some sort of fault or some whatever. And people don't want to do that.
I have told my kids and now my ex-wife for 20 years. I was like, because they would always be like, you're such a fucking asshole. You're being an asshole. You're being whatever. I'm saying that. Variations of that. And I would be like, if everything I say always you're filtering it as I'm an asshole, then that's how you're always going to take. Like I was saying, you're wrong for how you're receiving what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I did this for 20 years. And it wasn't until recently that I was like, maybe I was just an asshole.
Well, I could be. Maybe I was an asshole.
Maybe I was just a fucking asshole, you know? And, I could give you a bunch of excuses, but it doesn't matter now because it is what it is. But it is a mind shift.
It is. And I don't know.
It's not fun.
It's not. But I don't know when. I don't know when that shift comes or
I don't know.
What triggers it. Is it? I don't think it's necessarily age, right? But maybe it's a certain amount of life experience or a certain amount of experiences or whatever, right? But the ability to, I guess, be wrong or change your mind or have different opinions on, like, people just, bro, just, it could be just about anything. People just like I have to be, and the thing that's crazy is, I guess, like bigotry and like racism is one of those things where it's like, I'm always like, why do you think that? Or like, why do you feel that way about whatever? And it's like, people can't even really give you like an answer. Everything you've encountered says that what you think and believe is wrong. Or is contrary to the reality of whatever's happening. So you can't see past that. And why is that? To me, it always comes down to like you're holding on to something like almost like certain things are part of people's identity and they can't let that go.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing.
It's all different there, but it's like I'm so usually baffled or confused as to like, I guess I don't know. I don't know where that shift happened for me, where it's like, I knew information. But for me also, I will admit this, I'm not perfect, right? I was like, but it can go the other way too, where it's like, I get some information, I'm like, now I want to rip your motherfucking head off. You know what I'm saying? So it can definitely go left, right? It's like, oh, this motherfucker will stand up. Oh, now I feel like, hell no.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I got too much shit going on. I can't really act on that the way I want to act on that, but.
Yeah, I think I will say that's something that's lacking. I want to move into one more topic, but that's lacking. I think about this now. Again, my son is 19. He'll almost be 20.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. I get why people are having kids older and later. I get all these stats and stuff. I read a lot, but I get it. I was like, in my 20s, dude, I was not making sure he's alive and safe and healthy and happy and all that. But actual like imparting knowledge, I didn't know shit. So what am I imparting to him? Because I didn't know nothing. And now it's like, dude, how do you teach a young man or a young woman to have confidence in themselves, to be able to filter through, they're just jealous? Because this is the hard part. They're just jealous, or they're just fucking mean, or they're just ignorant, or maybe you are wrong. But how do you filter through that to say, all right, actually I'm wrong on this, or no, actually they're fucking wrong, right?
Yeah.
Level of maturity, it takes time to figure that out. But then also, listen, at the end of the day, when words don't work no more, you got to be able to defend yourself, right? There's a balance. You don't want to teach anyone to be mean and nasty and a bully. But at the same time, you don't want them to get bullied. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, how do you teach that open-mindedness, but also you still got that dog in you, and this ain't going to go the way you think.
Yeah.
It's hard, bro. It's a balance.
But with that, which one do you think is easier to not necessarily transition from, but to learn like first?
I don't know.
Right?
I think it's harder to teach someone to be, help me, BJ, with the word, but I think it's harder to teach someone who has never known violence how to be violent when needed. I think that's a hard transition.
I don't know if you can learn.
I don't know how you do that. Let's say you're 40 years old. You've never been in a fight. You never worked out. You never competed. You were just very cerebral, very kind of sheltered. And then now you get unleashed into the world and violence is happening upon you. How do you teach someone to deal with that?
I think, well, that's one of our things we talked about on the little miniseries, right? It's better to be a warrior in the garden.
Yeah, but how do you teach that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think it's...
So what's a good age to... Let's flip it around. What's a good age to start teaching that? When do you start robbing them of their innocence?
Is it robbing them of their innocence, though?
To let them know somebody wants to do harm upon them?
But I think innately people kind of get that sense. Oh, okay, here's what I said. Especially when I used to work at the school, right? Because it was elementary school kids, right? I would watch how the kids were interacting with one another, right? Just not interjecting, just kind of just observing how they interact with just, one another. And I think one of those things is not that we're dampening things, but I think in a way, I think we kind of are sometimes, right? I think, I think innately human beings know, even like I said, this is my experience just watching small kids like interact with one another. I think they kind of know like when to get squirrely and when to not, or so it's almost like when do we like at some point I feel like some parents are kind of like taking that away. They're trying to like teach that like, oh, you shouldn't hit, oh, you shouldn't do that, oh, be nice to everybody, oh, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I was like, that kid pushed him first.
Yeah,
and you're gonna be upset because he pushed him back. It's like so now you're teaching him that it's the violent like defending himself or standing up for himself or whatever is a negative thing, as opposed to, hey, there's a time and place for this. It's like we want to make this a last resort versus not do this ever again. You know what I mean? Because small kids take your words, and I've seen this. Small kids take your words usually very literally. They don't have they don't have context or undertone.
They don't understand.
They don't understand what you said. Red markers are bad. Red markers are bad, right? They don't have the context of being like, oh, red markers are bad because we write in black and blue, and usually the red marker signifies there's a mistake happening. They don't get that.
No. So I'll give you one better, because I grew up, and I don't know if you did, respect your elders, respect adults. Did you grow up that way?
I did.
Luckily, I was a cop, and I immediately changed that. I said, fuck no. You respect your mom and your dad. Everyone else, you got a problem, and they don't like the way you have them come talk to me. You do not. Yeah. I don't give a shit, because you learned that you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the shifts, bro. These are the shifts.
Yeah. It's like, well, I think I don't know if I don't think we added this one on there, but I think it's important. Right? Well, I guess one of the duties and responsibilities, I guess, of just men and in general, right? Especially fathers, husbands, that kind of thing, which is obviously something I aspire to be, right? So it's something that I've always kind of like picked up on. I think men are responsible for teaching lessons, right? So for teaching, imparting wisdom, imparting knowledge, imparting. But there's always certain things that, you're going to be able to, to teach, your son. There's certain things that you can't teach. You can't teach your daughter because you're not a woman, right? So I can't teach you that. I don't even know that to be able to try to impart that upon because I don't know, right?
Many times, Dad, I'm a teenage girl. You're a 40-year-old man. You're right, baby.
I don't know.
Continue. I have nothing to say. You're right. I don't know. I have no idea what you're
context on anything in this room. Not at all. Right? But overall, it's just raising productive human beings. Right? It's like, hey, babe, I'm gonna teach how to change a tire, how to do things, how to certain things that they're supposed to get from the father. I think that's a good question because I think I guess you could say as parents or as society, we're kind of dampening some of these things in children. Then you get, like you said, you're 40 years old, never been in a fight, never whatever. You've always use your words, bro.
Yeah.
Your words might not your words might not work, and your words also might get you fucked up if you don't use them properly.
Also true.
Words can get you fucked up. So
you know what? I'm gonna use this as an example because I have one more topic I want to bring up before we end it. But I remember, so I chose, or it just worked out. I ended up teaching my kids self-defense stuff. I think Alec was 11 and baby girl he was 13 and baby girl was 11. And I started teaching them things, but I'm 6'5", 300 pounds, dude. So it's very hard for me to demonstrate same. And it was even different for they don't know what they're doing, so they couldn't do it either. So I would just start. I did my best. I worked through it, but I will say they got more confident. But one of the times my baby girl was like, if someone your size attacks me, there's nothing I can do. I'm dead. But hold on. So I said, that may be true. I said, but doesn't mean you don't fight. And so then I thought eyes, throat, groin. Yep. I said, you have to get real violent and real nasty. And you have to be willing to do that. Curling up in the ball is not an option. We went through that for probably a month. And I remember, I think it was 2 years ago. She got into, it was a girl. It wasn't a boy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She got into a altercation.
Little something.
Little something. She went to the level that I was demonstrating if it was somebody my size. And I was like, I get it. And let me say, it ended very quickly, but I was like, you got to ease into that. You don't just immediately start going for life or death. But I realized at that moment, I realized I only taught you based on someone my size. Hey, she won.
All about it.
But I was like, ooh. Because you could really think about that, bro. two teenage girls and she's going for the eyes and the throat and fucking. I was like, let me teach you some other stuff. Other stuff. But I was like, my point is, she remembered that.
She reacted,
and that was her reaction. Elbows, baby, elbows, and yeah.
We had a officer involved shooting here a couple weeks ago, and so our lieutenant came in and was talking about that, and he had a good point. It's I think most people don't, I guess, think about this. It doesn't wait into their everyday lives or whatever, right? Because they just don't. We live in a fairly safe, society, if you will, for the most part.
For the most part,
it's fairly safe, right? I don't think you have to worry, depending on where you are. In most cases, you don't have to worry about walking down the street and like not making it home, right? But you should always keep that in the back of your mind. We're saying, most people don't know what they're going to do when that moment happens. And it comes about not necessarily knowing what to do, but just reacting at all. And it's like, so see baby girl at least react and do whatever is a wonderful thing, right? Because some people, like when she was 11, like you can't just curl up in a fucking ball and like be afraid or whatever. And I've learned it because we've seen it. Like most people don't actually want to.
Even criminals and violent people. Again, there's always the one-offs. There's always the exception. I get it, but most of the time, because you've also seen that where as soon as they start to commit the crime and so the person fights back, they don't want that. They want an easy. They want an easy target.
100%.
That's true.
Yeah, so I was like, most people, like I said, they don't. Once you, I forget how this guy say it. He's like, once people realize you are willing to fight, they don't want to fight.
Yeah.
Right. So all that wolfing and let me know when you're ready.
Yeah. Dude, real quick, and I want to ask this topic.
Yeah.
See, we were able to just riff. K9 was trying to arrest him, but a deputy had called K9 and they chased this dude into the house and he wouldn't open the door, whatever. And it was his mom's house or something like that. And so I go to back him up and I'm like, what's going on? I get a brief. They're like, bro, he just went over the door. I said, man, that he's in there. You know he's in there? Yeah. I said, fuck that. So I knocked real loud and I grabbed the sides and I was about to kick it. And right as I was about to kick it, he opened the door and goes, no. And the K9 was like, what the fuck? Why'd you open the door for him? He's like, he looked like he was really going to do it. I don't know what they had been doing prior to me getting there, but they're like, he was coming in.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, you're 100%
and I was like, you're goddamn right.
Goddamn right. I'm about to.
Yeah. Well, so it's that they know if it's half-hearted or like, yo, this is a wrap.
Yeah, like, ooh, I don't really want these.
All right, real quick, switching, but it's all tied in to the communication thing. It just popped in my head. I just listened to I can't remember. I listened to too many podcasts, and I like to give credit where it comes from, but I can't remember where it came from. AI and being used for relationships. I'm not talking about AI robots, which will be a whole different thing, but people are using like ChatGPT, Gemini, I don't know all of them, but they're using it as like, because you can change the voice and you can say girlfriend, like you can basically make it a relationship.
Wait a minute, hold on. So you're talking about they're in the relationship with the AI?
How you doing today, baby? Doing so good. How was your day? Like this, it's like that, bro. But think about what's happening, because the AI is only the algorithm is only it's going to give back what you put in, type of a thing. So you're not getting any real feedback. You're not like,
that's not
it's telling you what you want to hear or what based on the other conversation that you need to hear, kind of a thing. Like thinking about quitting this job and I'm going to go pursue my art career, even though I've never drawn anything in my whole life and I've never done it and I've never sold anything. Hey, absolutely. You're so creative. You should do that. Like I'm being real stupid here, but this is this is a thing that is happening. And then I didn't know this, but Chat GPT, after like 30 or 40,000 entries, it deletes the history. And it's almost like a breakup because now it resets as like a new thing. And people are going through depression and traumatic events from having their AI partner essentially die. Bro, this is a real thing. I was like, and I was fascinated by it. And they're like, wait till they start putting AI in like the sex robots and stuff.
Bro, we're in the fucking Matrix for real, bro. I don't understand what is happening.
Bro, yeah. It actually, it's so. I think it stuck in my mind because we had Dr. Mira on Street Tales about a month ago, and he was talking from the point of video games and social media.
Yeah,
and he was like, he goes, pisses everybody. He's older. He goes, pisses everybody off. He goes, I liked video games growing up too. But it was like Nintendo, like real, you knew you were playing a video game type thing. And just the way the games were, Mario Kart, I don't know, whatever. You get what I'm saying. He goes, video games now are not like that. They are immersive, virtual, like you're in it. Like it's giving you all the same trauma
and it looks
as
real.
if you were in the war or in those times or in that relationship or whatever fucking game you're playing. He goes, it is causing the exact same. Your brain only knows how to process what you put into it. And if that's all you're putting into it, that's what you're processing. So that's the video game side. The social media side, he goes, it is filtered and feeds to make you stay on it. So if you're stuck on, these filtered images of men or women, or fitness people, or whatever war's going on in another country, and that's all you're stuck on.
Yeah,
it'll give you as many hours as you want to sit there and scroll and look and see and just continue to. He goes, all of this is going into your. He broke it down real scientific. He's going into your eyes and processing your head, and that's what's coming back out. And he goes, and it's a fucking problem. He goes, if I could be king for a day, I would eliminate all of it.
Yeah, motherfuckers got to disconnect.
But now add to this, I want to actually have him come back on and talk about AI.
Bro,
partners,
that shit is
boyfriend, girlfriend. That's a real thing, BJ.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. Think about that. You have the highs and lows, the emotional connection, because that's what you're putting into your brain, bro.
And you're not even getting laid.
This is the first generation. I can't remember. I don't know generation. Apparently, we're millennials. I don't know. I don't know what the generations are.
See, I don't understand that because you said if it was AI into like a sex robot or some shit like that.
That's coming, right? But this is before that even.
But what I'm saying, I was like, but that even though that is still fucking crazy. That I think I could wrap my head around a little bit more because it's like a physical, even though it's fucking obviously fake. It's physical, and you're looking at it. But I'm like, so she just talked to him like every day.
Bro. But the generation, whatever, I think either my kids or maybe younger, I don't know, whatever that generation, teenagers, whatever the fuck that is, they are not. It's kind of good and bad. They're not drinking. They're not doing drugs. They're not partying. They're not doing any of those things. It sounds good. But how is that going to look like when they're adults? If they maintain that, not the drugs and the drink, but like they're not engaging with other human beings. That was the point.
Yeah, they're not.
And then take a country. Japan is having this problem right now. They're not having children. They're not getting married. They're not creating families. So it's a layered thing. To have kids just to have kids, that's scumbaggery, right? In my opinion, I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's what's his name, Nick Cannon having 18 kids or Elon Musk having 20. I don't give a fuck. That's scumbaggery, bro. You're not a parent. You're just fucking throwing it out there. But in Japan, they're not even doing that. And then two, they're not getting married, creating families. And when I think of Japanese culture or Asian culture, it is a family focused thing, right? Yeah. Like you have great grandma all the way down to the baby, either living in the same house or like next. You see what I'm saying? Like and now that's being broken apart.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's weird as fuck, but it's interesting.
Yeah, dude. So guess where a lot of these sex robot AI stuff is pumping out of? Bam, bro. Japan has, I love the idea of it. Me and you and I have talked, they have 24-hour arcades where people will live there for months. They'll live in there, bro. And this isn't just me talking shit. One, I've seen it with my eyes.
Yeah.
And two, it's constantly being reported on and researched. Like you can look this shit up. It's not just Tyler making shit up. This is what's happening.
We're in trouble, bro.
Oh, bro.
We're in trouble. That's not good. That's not good.
All right. One thing, so we don't get assassinated one day. I was listening to, actually, I'm going to send it to you when we're done. I was listening to Tucker Carlson, and he was talking to some doctor. He was talking about chemtrails. Hold on. I know you love this stuff. He goes, the rest of the show, let's not call it chemtrails because that's immediately people, you're a kook, you're a nut. He goes, it's been a thing. He goes, so let's call it what it actually is. And he lists all the chemicals, chemtrails, and why they're doing it. And he goes, it's a real thing. I study it. I was part of the program. I know what they're doing. And it was like a 3-hour long one. He goes, they're releasing this stuff in all commercial flights, military flights. They release this nanoparticles like aluminum, all this other shit. And the purpose is to reflect the sun away from the earth so it doesn't heat the earth. And I'm oversimplifying. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
But when the chemicals land, they're toxic to every living thing. He goes, so that's why you see people getting sick, vast wastelands of like grass dying, but the trees are dying because the trees, the toxicity hits it and I don't know the science of all this stuff, but it closes it off. So it will stop taking in the air and carbon, whatever it needs to live. And it's a slow death. They're basically suffocating to death. And then he ended with weather control and how it's a real thing. and how apparently we were doing this back in Vietnam War, where we would project, again, I don't know science, these things, and we would basically make it where it didn't rain over the U.S. soldiers, because that was one of the hindrances. And he goes, what about all the hurricanes in Florida? Have you seen it? He goes, have you seen as many? They're not hitting the U.S. He goes, what about when it snowed in Texas or snowed in Florida? He goes, it was 30 degrees warmer in Alaska. I was like, oh shit, bro. I'm gonna send it to you, bro. It'll tie into all your conspiracy stuff, bro.
I know you think I was that, bro, but I'm telling you, something it's too obvious.
Well, the way he broke it down, he goes, this is what I do for a living. I study this shit. This is what I do.
Yeah. But come on, guys.
And he goes, and nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody gives a shit. And he goes, the ozone is at critical state. He started talking about plankton was at 90% loss, the number one producer of oxygen in the world. All these things are dying. The bees are dying. And matter of fact, he made one real common thing. I think Florida is different because they have love bugs. But when you drive across the country now, if you remember in the 80s, you would drive for 2 or 3 hours and the windshield would be splattered with bugs all over the fucking place. That doesn't happen anymore. You might get a one-off. Florida's different because Florida's just love bugs. But if you go outside of Florida, think about when you drive. Drive California. You don't hit bugs.
I didn't think about it. The last few times I've driven to Huntsville.
Yeah. Again, you might have the one-off, but I don't know if you can remember. You can look it up. Cars in the 70s and 80s. It would be like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
It was bugs, bro. Yeah, bro. He goes, so no, it's not the aluminum in your spray deodorant or your hairspray. And I remember this when I was in the 80s and 90s growing up. They were like trying to eliminate all this stuff. You're killing the earth, turn the water faucet off. He goes, no, they are fucking with the weather on a global scale. It's not just the US either. It's all over.
I can see it.
He goes, China was doing this shit back in the 80s and 90s. They were making it snow in like Hong Kong or Beijing or whatever. And it was causing so much damage and destruction because they were wiping out fucking agriculture, which is their big thing. They started doing it in other places. Yeah, bro.
Been saying this shit for a while.
I know. I was like, bro, is this for real? Like, it made me go off on I'm gonna send it to you as soon as
this is for real,
bro. He's like, yeah, we have been doing this. This is real shit. He goes again. He has knowledge that I guess a normal person doesn't have. He goes, when you look up the power being drawn from cell towers all over the U.S., he goes, it's typically within whatever range. He goes, but every now and again, you'll hit a cell tower that's 1,000 times more, sucking up 1,000 times more energy. Why? Why is that one taking up that much more? Like he goes, it's sucking up all the energy from the power grid. One cell tower.
Like now you need some scientists to tell you. You need some scientists that you listen to. I've been saying this shit for years.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he goes, think about this. He goes, try to think back to when, because again, I don't know how much you flew on planes, but I did when I was younger. He goes, I can't remember the year, and this is why it's terrible. I'm not doing the deep dive. You go into Tucker Carlson, they talk about it. But he goes, when did commercial flights start carrying how much your luggage weighed? Makes no sense, right?
It doesn't, because it's still going on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah. He goes, because they now have payloads. He goes, all of it's automated. Most of them might not even know what the fuck it is. It just does it automatically when they hit a certain altitude at a certain latitude, longitude, and it just disperses out of the plane. It's not condensation. It's not smoke or whatever, or the fuel burning. He goes, that's not how jets work these days. That's not what it is.
Another crazy thing. We're on the topic of planes. Where does the fuel go?
Yeah. Yeah.
The technology for planes, there's not enough fuel there's not enough. The fuel tank is not big enough. The supposed fuel tank would not be big enough to be on a plane that big, and you not see it.
Yeah, I know, bro. He didn't get into that part, but he was talking about the trails that we see and why they do it. He goes, no, there's a real reason why they're doing it.
Yeah, they're killing us all. I've been saying this for a long time.
And it's not working.
No, because we're still here.
Well, and then I was having this conversation with my daughter last night. They're trying to bring she showed me the article. Mm-hmm. They want to bring back woolly mammoths. They've already started doing it and trying, but hold on. Their logic and reasoning is because they want to bring them back so they can walk around the Arctic so they can tamp down the permafrost. She told me that. I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. She goes, no, look. And there was a whole article on this shit. I was like, bro, a peer-reviewed, scientific, researched article. Hey, we're going to bring back these ancient fucking beasts to help condense the permafrost. And then that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard, bro.
But at some point, people just have to start, like we used to say, the say this out loud test. If it looks crazy, it's probably fucking crazy. This does not make sense. It doesn't make sense. Stop telling me it makes sense when it clearly does not make sense. You edit this one out if you want to, right? Meanwhile, I heard you say this the other day, and I was like, huh. He's like, hey man, everybody in the Bible was black.
Okay.
And like that was the only point where like the people was like in the comments, he's like, I'm gonna say it again for you. Everybody in the Bible is black.
Okay.
And he's like, what? He's like, I know you guys been seeing the Hollywood movies. Everyone in the Bible is black. We'll just leave it with that. It's when I'm saying it's like think about the context of what we're talking about, where it was, time period, what's happening, who's in it, what are we arguing about? This is use your brain.
Well, I do have the I guess the positive experience of going to churches where they actually were like, yeah, Jesus wasn't white with blonde hair and blue eyes, guys.
Yeah, what the fuck are we talking about?
Actually, my favorite sermon was Jesus had a six pack because he's like, he was a carpenter. If he didn't have dreads, he had something similar to it. He goes, he wasn't getting a high type fade with long. They didn't have shampoo and conditioner.
Yeah.
Like this image that we're projecting is like, that's not, he was from the Mediterranean. He was a carpenter. So his hands were rough as shit. If you've ever met anyone who works in construction, them hands are like goddamn vices. Yeah. And also he wasn't just all grace and mercy. He whipped the shit out of the priests in the temple.
Yeah.
Because he was pissed off.
So you guys don't remember that? You have to read the book?
Glossed over that part, bro. They just want to talk about name it and claim it and grace and mercy.
Name it and claim it.
I love the name it and claim it, bro. God wants me to have this Range Rover, this private jet, bro. He wants me to have it.
I pay your tithes offering because God wants me to have it. Okay. All right.
Ooh. Well, lastly, we'll end with this because this will be funny. I actually I gave a sermon, hit like a ton of bricks. Nobody got it. Nobody understood it. And nobody liked it. But I was talking, it was for tithing, which I do believe in. There's examples of not tithing in the world today, and it was the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, nothing lives in it because it's cut off from all sort. It doesn't receive or give water. You know, like most oceans have the ebb and flow. Yeah. The Dead Sea doesn't. So what is it? What happened? Nothing can survive. Nothing can live in it. That was the gist of it. I mean, I talked for maybe 10 minutes, and it just.
Well, you're not talking about prosperity. No? Oh, okay, I know it.
Yeah, I know it completely blacked out. And then I remember one person was asking, I was like, well, like, what's the cutoff? Because 10%. I mean, some people make more than others. I was like, okay, it's 10%. But the concept was hard. And this is why it talks about the wealthy trying to enter the kingdom of heaven. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot, bro. But like, what if I make $1 million a year? That'd be me tithing on high investments, portfolio. You know, I got bills and stuff. Yeah, but what about the person who makes 10,000? Do you think that 1,000 is easy for them to give? See what I'm saying? Yeah, I know, bro. We're getting way off topic. We're talking about religion on this bitch. Bro, that way they know we're crazy, bro. They're not going to try to come get us.
Yeah, exactly. These guys are nut job. Talking about planes with no fuel. Yeah, well, all right, guys.
All right, bro. Let's end it on that one.
Yeah.
All right.